So a while back I built kind of a cargo netting here, and it seems to work really well. It's really functional. It's above the bed, so it lets me put, I usually put, these are sheets, and maybe some extra books get thrown up there. So I'm going to install another one, and I thought that I would catalog it in case it's useful to anyone else. So here's my process. So as you can see, the cargo netting, this is just some yarn that I had, and it's got these little eyelet hook things. So I've already installed a couple for this next set that I'm gonna build here on this part. But what I'm doing, here's the little hole that I drilled. So I've got my drill. I'm using this little guy to kind of, just kind of help me figure out exactly where the next hole is gonna go. So it'll go about right there. And I've got my drill, and I'm just going to drill just kind of a little leading hole. That's it. And then I will grab one of these cute little eyelet guys. This is what they look like. I don't know where they came from. They were in, these little guys right here used to belong to my mother, and my dad gave them to me after she passed, and they're just like full of all of this like awesome little random stuff, little screws, little hooks. So anyway, thanks Mom. These were coming in really handy. And now that I have the little hole, and just pop this little guy in there, and usually pretty easily catches. There we go. It just catches, and then I just twist it down. There we go. Until it's in. I'll do that one. Grab a little hook. Grab a little hole. Twist, twist, twist. There we go. Perfect. There we go. And I will do the same on this side. This side is actually a piece of wood, but it's just the same principle. I'm just going to drill a little hole, and I'm going to screw these little guys in. I want to get all that done. Then we can talk about how this happened. Okie dokie. I have all of our little hooks in place. The rest of them are back here. And now we are just going to take this yarn and weave it back and forth. So pretty straightforward. I just started at this one, and I weaved over to this one, and then back to this one, and then over to this one. Okie dokie. I have it all strung, and I went back and forth one extra time on the end. So there are two here. This is the end, and I'm just going to tie it off up there. I also realized, and now remembering, that on this side I did not do just a single piece of yarn. See how this is just one piece of yarn? I single crocheted a long chain of yarn, and that's how I gave this one a little more structure. But I already got this woven, and now I'm curious if just the one piece of yarn can hold it. So I'm just gonna leave it, and if I need to redo it later, it's really not that big of a deal. So anyway, probably best to go ahead and single chain. If you don't know how to single chain with crochet, it's like really easy. All you need is a crochet hook of like any size. Borrow one from someone. Just get on YouTube, look up single chain crochet, and it'll show you how. It's pretty simple, but it will give us a little more structure. So probably that's the ideal way, but I'm gonna give this a try and see what happens. So now I'm gonna tie it off right here, just so it's tied off, and then of course over here as well. I'm gonna run one more back here, tie it off up here, so it's two on the ends, just to give it an edge. And then I'll show you what's going on here to make, because it's kind of a grid pattern, not just straight across. That's going to give it a little more structure. I did learn on this one that I had pulled it a little, I'd given it some lack, like I'm doing that right now, giving it some extra room. I had done that on the other one, but once I tied off these little guys, it still got really tight. So it functions pretty well, but it might be nice to have a little extra room so it kind of, you know, could hold some bigger stuff. So I'm gonna try that with this one and see how that goes. Okay, now we're going to turn this one into kind of a cargo style. So I need some little pieces of yarn cut. So I've got, looks like about 5 right now. So I'm just cutting little pieces. I don't know, they're maybe 4 or 5 inches long. It doesn't really matter. And then we'll use these to tie these. I left these long because I was afraid that they might pull out of the knots, but since they haven't pulled out, and I did this months ago, I'm gonna go ahead and like cut these little extra strings off too. So that is our next step. I'm gonna cut my little pieces of yarn and I'll meet you back over here. Okay, now we're gonna work on this diamond pattern here. So I've already got it started, and it took me a little bit to remember what I was doing before, but it's kind of like there are 4 rows of little ties. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're kind of going every other. So, and you'll notice as you go, like you'll tie this one and you'll realize, oh, okay, it's these 2 that get tied, and they're offsetting the tension on this side. So you just sort of go and tie them sort of every other one in these little rows across, and it will create this nice pattern. Okie dokie, friends, I have completed my little pattern and it's done. That's it. The only thing left to do is I'm gonna chop off these little extra piggy tail things all over the thing. Okay, I cut off all of the little piggy tails, and man, I really like that a lot better. Fix that little guy. He's a little uneven, but you know what? It doesn't really matter because it doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a cargo netting in the van. So, whatever. Also, look how cute this is. Smokey wanted to, I guess, come help with the project. And she's all curled up next to the ball of yarn. And if that isn't just the cutest cat thing, I really don't know what is. All right, boom. I actually got 2 extra blankets up there. Put all the books up with the sheets. Looks like Bandit's gonna come check it out. Hey, buddy. What do you think? And yeah, I really didn't sacrifice much space either, which is huge. I was worried that there, once I shoved that second blanket up there, that the head space would be affected, but it's really not. Super happy with this storage solution. And yes, now you have all the info you need, hopefully, to make your own and avoid buying one at the store because cargo netting is expensive. That's why I ended up making my own and figuring it out, because I was gonna purchase one and it was pretty pricey, like, I don't know, 80 bucks or something in there. And I thought, I think I can make this. So I did, and yeah, really huge improvement for storage in the van. Easy, free, I had everything I needed already. So anyway, good little project. Have a wonderful day.